everyone, Ben Avery here. Super Bowl 57 has reached a conclusion, and the Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champions. Like I said in my Super Bowl prediction video, I'm doing a project talking about each team's last Super Bowl win and that's a month later. Without further ado, let's get started. Before we get into the last Super Bowl titles for each team, let's talk about teams that have never won the big game. The Buffalo Bills are the most surprising team in my opinion, because the Bills have made it to 4 consecutive Super Bowls, but lost all 4. They have appeared in Super Bowls 25 to 28. However, I think they're going to win the big game soon with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. The next team is the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals went to the Super Bowl 3 times, but lost all 3 times. They lost against the 49ers in Super Bowl 16. Then they lost again to the 49ers in Super Bowl 23. And they lost against the Rams in Super Bowl 56. But just like the Bills, I think the Bengals are gonna win it soon with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. The Carolina Panthers have appeared in 2 Super Bowls. They lost to the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 38 and the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 50. And Super Bowl 50 sticks out to me because it was the last football game Peyton Manning ever played in. The Minnesota Vikings have not been in the Super Bowl since the 1976 season. They appeared in Super Bowl 4 against the Kansas City Chiefs. But they lost to the Chiefs, and they also appeared in Super Bowl 8 against the Miami Dolphins. The next year in Super Bowl 9 against the Steelers, they lost. And one more time a couple of years later in Super Bowl 11. The next team is the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons have never won a Super Bowl. The Falcons have appeared in the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 33, losing to the Denver Broncos. They choked a 28-3 lead in Super Bowl 51 against the New England Patriots, and in the worst way possible. The next team is the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals' only Super Bowl appearance was Super Bowl 43, where they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers 27-23. So at least it was a close game. The San Diego/LA Chargers lost their lone Super Bowl appearance in Super Bowl 29 against the San Francisco 49ers. The Tennessee Titans lost their lone Super Bowl game against the LA STL Rams in Super Bowl 34. The Rams' Mike Jones made a game-saving tackle, tackling Kevin Dyson at the 1-yard line to prevent Kevin from scoring a game-tying touchdown. As the Titans lose a close one, 23-16. The Cleveland Browns are the next team. They have never appeared in a Super Bowl. They came close a number of times, but they have never won a Super Bowl. The Detroit Lions have also never appeared in a Super Bowl. Their last playoff win was 1991 against the Dallas Cowboys. The Houston Texans have never appeared in the Super Bowl. At least Houston can rely on the Astros to make the playoffs, but then unfairly win the World Series. Jacksonville, unfortunately, has never appeared in the Super Bowl. Okay, now let's move into teams that actually won the Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs won this past Super Bowl, Super Bowl 57, with Patrick Mahomes as the MVP. Only had 182 passing yards, but passed for 3 touchdowns. Donna Kelsey said she just was rooting for offenses, and that was a great offensive game by both teams. It was a very close game, and it really could have gone either way. The Kansas City Chiefs won the Chiefs won on a Harrison Butker game-winning field goal. The final score was 38-35. The Chargers never won a Super Bowl. Yeah, the Chargers have never won a Super Bowl, and I don't think they will for a long time. The last time the Oakland/LV Raiders, the last time the Raiders have won a Super Bowl was Super Bowl 18. The Super Bowl 18 MVP was Marcus Allen, who rushed for 191 yards, 16 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. That was against the Washington Redskins. Water is refreshing. The Broncos' last Super Bowl win was Super Bowl 50. The MVP of Super Bowl 50 was Von Miller, with 6 tackles, 2.5 sacks, and 1 pass deflection. On to the AFC North. The Bengals have never won a Super Bowl. You see how sad Garfield is right now? The Browns have also never won a Super Bowl. Sorry, Timmy Turner. The Ravens' last Super Bowl win was Super Bowl... Oh man, I wish I was educated to read Roman numerals correctly. XLVII. They beat the 49ers. The MVP of that game was Joe Flacco. Flacco was 22 for 33 in passing completions and 3 touchdowns. The Steelers' last Super Bowl win was Super Bowl 43 against the Arizona Cardinals. The MVP of that game was Antonio Holmes, who had 9 catches for 131 yards and a touchdown. The Jaguars have never won a Super Bowl. Sorry, Woody. The Texans have never won a Super Bowl. You see how sad those chipmunks are? I'd be sad. The Titans have never won a Super Bowl. Don't worry, buddy the elf. You'll get through it. It's okay. The last time the Colts won a Super Bowl was Super Bowl 41. Peyton Manning was the Super Bowl MVP with 247 passing yards and 1 touchdown. The Colts beat the Bears 29-17. The Bills have never won a Super Bowl. You see how sad Jimmy Neutron is? The last time the Patriots won was Super Bowl 53 against the Rams. The Patriots won 13-3. Most people, including myself, may reference this game as the most boring Super Bowl in Super Bowl history. Now, I remember that game very vividly. I was junior, senior in high school at the time, and I remember in my science class the next day, my teacher was a big football fan. She referenced that game as the Boring Bowl because we want to see scoring in the Super Bowl, and I gotta agree with her, that was the Boring Bowl because 2 touchdowns to no touchdowns. That's so boring. The MVP of that game was Julian Edelman with 10 catches for 141 yards. The Miami Dolphins had a two-peat in Super Bowls 7 and 8. They beat the Vikings in Super Bowl 8, 24-7. The MVP of that game was Larry Sonka, fullback, with 33 carries, 145 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns. The New York Jets have a long history without winning a Super Bowl. Their last Super Bowl win was Super Bowl 3. The MVP of that game was Joe Namath with 206 passing yards and no touchdowns. The Cardinals have never won a Super Bowl. See how sad Mr. Incredible is? It'll be okay, Mr. Incredible. The 49ers beat the San Diego Chargers in Super Bowl 29 with Steve Young as the MVP of that game with 325 passing yards and 6 touchdown passes. 6. That's unheard of nowadays in one game. The last Super Bowl win for the Rams was a couple years ago, Super Bowl 56. Cooper Kupp was the Super Bowl MVP with 8 catches for 92 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Seattle Seahawks' last Super Bowl win was Super Bowl 48. The Super Bowl 48 MVP was Malcolm Butler, who made a game-saving interception when Tom Brady threw a pass, and then it was tipped and intercepted by Malcolm Butler. Yeah. Okay, transitioning to the NFC North. The Lions, see how sad this emoji is? People are sad when their team doesn't win the Super Bowl. The Vikings have never won a Super Bowl. See how sad that Bitmoji is? I'd be so sad. And that's my Bitmoji. Yeah, even though I'm not a Vikings fan, I wanted to be in the... My Bitmoji wants to be in the YouTube video somehow. The Packers' last Super Bowl win was Super Bowl 45 against the Steelers, with Aaron Rodgers as the MVP with 24 of 39 passing completions and 304 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. The last time the Bears won the Super Bowl was Super Bowl 20. So XX against the Patriots. The final score was 46-10. The Super Bowl MVP was defensive end Richard Dent with 2 sacks and a forced fumble. The NFC South, the Carolina Panthers, sorry, have never won a Super Bowl. Do you see how sad Margot is from Despicable Me? The Falcons have never won a Super Bowl. Sorry, Charlie Brown. Super Bowl 55 was won by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who beat very badly the Chiefs 31-9. The Chiefs did not score a single touchdown. It was a field goal. They made 3 field goals. This was Tom Brady's final Super Bowl win. Tom Brady was the Super Bowl MVP. He threw for 201 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. The last time the Saints won the Super Bowl was Super Bowl 44 against the Indianapolis Colts. Drew Brees was the Super Bowl MVP. He threw for 288 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. The NFC East. The last Super Bowl I just put football team because it wasn't the Redskins, or it was the Redskins, but they're not a team anymore, and it wasn't the Commanders, so I put the football team because Redskins is, I don't want to put the Redskins because it's a controversial word, and it's not the football team anymore, so I just put the football team. But anyway, the Redskins won the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 26. That was against the Buffalo Bills. That was the second year of the Bills' 4 straight Super Bowls. 4 straight Super Bowl appearances. The final score was 37-24. The Super Bowl MVP was, sorry if I'm mispronouncing this, Mark Rypien with 292 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. The last Super Bowl the Giants won was Super Bowl 46. If I could rewatch it again, I would love to see that game again between Tom Brady and Eli Manning. And I tried that once, but if it's not the Chiefs, I'm not, like, unless it's the Super Bowl from this year, if it's not the Chiefs, it's hard for me to watch. Sorry, Manning or Brady. Brady is a for sure Hall of Famer, but I think Manning really should be in the Hall of Fame. The MVP, as the Giants won 27-17, the MVP of that game was Eli Manning, who passed for 296 passing yards and 1 touchdown. The last time the Cowboys won the Super Bowl was Super Bowl XXX, which is Super Bowl 30 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Eagles' last Super Bowl win was Super Bowl 52 against the New England Patriots. The final score was 41-33. The Super Bowl MVP was Nick Foles, who threw for, Nick Foles threw for 373 passing yards and 3 touchdowns and 1 touchdown reception. Those are all of the teams in their last Super Bowl title, if they won a Super Bowl. If the Chiefs would have lost in a game, I would not have been mad if the Bills won, because if they win, I feel like that's what Buffalo would have needed to lift up the Buffalo spirits because of Damar Hamlin. I really have a lot of sympathy for the city of Buffalo. This year, I was really going to be supportive if the Buffalo Bills won the Super Bowl in support of Damar Hamlin. But, of course, I still wanted the Chiefs to win. I really think sometime in the next 5 years, the Bills and Bengals will win at least 1 Super Bowl or 2 within that span, with Josh Allen for the Bills and Joe Burrow for the Bengals. But as of right now, that's the current Super Bowl history please just do me one favor. Have yourself a great